All right, moving on. Kirk Serber says, I just saw your appearance on Comics and Cocktails from November 2015, where you debated whether Kirk or Picard was the better captain. Can you tell us about that? How did you get connected with that crew, and did you all continue the debate after the show ended? Sorry. It looks like an interesting show, and I think I'm going to keep watching it. Also, I had to rewatch The Dowd Conundrum, which is one of my favorite videos that you've ever done. Thank you, Kirk. Kirk. Epic. Took me a second. Sorry, Kirk. Wow, what a great name for a comment like that. So I did that because the guy who was on the show, not the guy I was arguing with, but the other guy, Nathan Lichtman, was a producer at PJTV. He produced the Afterburners there and Trifecta and stuff. And he asked me to go, and it was a lot of fun. I was over prepared, I think. I mean, I just had so much artillery. But the line, I mean, the line out of that debate, the debate between whether Kirk or Picard is a better captain, it just comes down to this, James Kirk made the galaxy safe for Jean-Luc Picard to be able to drink tea. That's pretty much the way it goes. I simply cannot compare those two shows. And I just never really took to the Next Generation. I thought the Enterprise D is hideously ugly, and it looks stunted. I mean, get a cross section of a spaceship. It's supposed to have, like, the engines are supposed to be big, like, it's like an animal ready to pounce or something. This thing looks like it needs a wheelchair, and I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was weak. I thought Picard was weak. I thought the whole, we surrender, make it so, engage. In fact, the show was so boring. And this is actually the main thing about, and we won't waste a lot of time on this, but the main thing about what's interesting to me about Next Generation is, in the original series, you were going to boldly go where no man has gone before, which meant that every single week you're going to come to a planet where you have no idea what is there. You have no idea. Is it going to be a white gorilla with a unicorn horn sticking out of his head? Is it going to be a foppish kind of a 17th century dandy with a loaded pistol? Is it going to be, super beings made out of energy? Is it you're going to find Zephyr Cochrane out on a planet? So you don't know what you're going to find, and you never knew what you're going to find. And in the Next Generation, everything is so civilized that you're very rarely finding any new things. And so what they had to do was they basically had to create the holodeck to make it interesting enough to have an episode. In other words, this universe is so boring that we have to pretend to be, in gangster land, or we have to pretend to be this or that. And I mean, seriously, guys, if you really want to do a gangster show, why don't you do what they did in the original show and go to a planet where they basically picked up some Earth stories and ran the planet like real gangsters. Piece of the action, one of the great funny episodes, and I remember just being completely intrigued by how to play Fizbin. And if you don't know what Fizbin is, look it up. That's what the internet's for. But I laughed my tail off when I was listening to how to play Fizbin. Anyway, and thank you for the Dowd Conundrum. I've said this many times about that video. It's certainly not my best work, but it is my favorite work. And to be in the uniform and in the chair, and I just think it's pretty good political commentary too. On top of it, honestly, the whole idea of intellectuals, running things, is a bad idea. So. Thank you. That was nice to have that memory back.